that's a given. If they get the farm out, Magnus gets the blink, BKB at some point a refresher, you have an empowered gyro to worry about. That is, there's few late game team fight combos that can beat that. Now, it is a little risky as far as the laning stage goes, though. They have already the Nyx, who's not the strongest laner, couple it with a Mag, and I'm wondering if they actually want to run this Mag mid, because it's been, I'd say more often than not, they hear that Dendi plays, but Mag versus Shadow Fiend is not a great matchup. Even if you don't die, Shadow Fiend will basically get free farm, and they don't have the best gankers. Disruptor, Nyx, they gank well in the mid game, but they don't gank well in the very early laning stage. They both need levels. They don't have that high of damage output early on, so I'm wondering now, maybe this is actually a Funnic Magnus. They're going to run Nyx Disruptor support, and then they pick another core for mid, but no, I was wrong. They go Wyvern, so they do go for support, so it looks like probably Dendi Mag, Funnic Nyx, and then Wyvern Disruptor Gyro as the tri-lane, or maybe they move one of those supports around.
Yeah, the laning phase should be interesting. Vega Squadron, I feel like it does have a fairly well-rounded lineup. The addition of Clockwork, again, being able to put Blink Daggers on cooldown, that of course works for Nyx and Magnus both now, but they have to be so careful about how they take their fights. Like if Clock is able to land a good hook and a good cog on, I don't know, if he's able to get the gyro, you know, you have a Shadow Fiend, a Shadow Demon, and a Leshrac who are going to want to rush at least to the periphery of the fight. If not, Shadow Fiend either blinking in or running in looking for an ult with a BKB. But the moment you start to do that and really utilize the fact that Clockwork can take a fight and try to split it in half, you're naturally going to be grouping up, especially if you're trying to come through the woods or come uphill or something like that. So I think it's going to be very risky how Vega takes these fights. And like you said, going late, I mean, it's always an option. Shadow Fiend's certainly an excellent late game hero, but Navi's really good in that department, and trying to go late against Havost on a gyro, always risky.
Winter Wyvern is also an excellent late game support because he has a BKB piercing disable. He can keep teammates alive pretty well. And obviously, as mentioned, they already have the Magnus Gyro duo. So I think Navi right now has, to me, the late game edge, assuming relatively even farm and levels. The one thing I'm wondering is, why Winter Wyvern in this game? Because I feel like one of the really important reasons to pick this hero is when Cold Embrace is really good, where you're not taking any physical damage. That's not, well, I was going to say it's not really the case here. Now they pick Dazzle, who's more about that physical damage, but really, Vega have so much damage. They got triple raise, the Clockwork Rocket, the hook shot as well. You're looking at Leshrac, who's all magic damage.
Shadow Wave from Dazzle off the disruption.
Well, that's physical, but yeah, it is more just burst damage in general. And I guess I think they're picking it more for just the hero zoning potential as well as the ultimate, but I don't feel like the Cold Embrace really offers you all that much this game. It's a lot of burst, a lot of magic damage on Vega. I've seen him like 3 times so far in this patch, and the game says he felt effective.
Well, wouldn't be Dota without pauses. Quick one, as art style needs to get water or go pee or I don't know, something along those lines. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm AC, joined by LD for the Hypecast. Navi leads this best of 2 series, 1-0, looking to make it a clean sweep, while Vega really need to put one in the win column. They're already beginning to separate down towards the bottom of their group. It's still very early, still a lot of games left to be played and before all is said and done, but they don't want to find themselves behind after just this this first day / night. And I mean, we've kind of broken down their lineups. How do you think the lanes are going to shape up now that we see who's going to be playing on who? I mean,
so it's going to be Dendi Mag mid. Shadow Fiend wins this matchup convincingly, unless there's supports involved. Havost Gyro headed to the safe lane. Funnic's going to be off lane Nyx. I don't think Navi's lanes are... I think their safe lane should go fine, but I feel like they're going to lose the off lane and mid, most likely. You've got Shadow Demon Lesh plus a Dazzle. That is insane kill potential. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if Vega go aggressive tri-lane, because they have the potential to win all 3 lanes with that. Clock can beat Nyx 1v1. I would say at best it's even for Nyx if he plays well, and Clock has the higher chance of winning the lane. And then your tri-lane, you already mentioned the disruption into Shadow Wave. That's insane. Combined with the Leshrac in a farming role, which he should be in, they can at least potentially beat this Navi tri-lane. So I don't know. I'm a little worried for Navi, and I feel like maybe they want to try and dodge, put the Nyx bottom, rotate the Gyro into an offensive tri-lane, but really just to dodge the Vega tri-lane that could be headed their way. We'll see. For now, that Shadow Demon, though, he's heading towards bottom, but he's not going with the Leshrac. Looks like Leshrac may be going top in the end, so perhaps they will decide to back down. I really feel like they should be going aggressive here, though.
Na'Vi going to roll out as 5, looking to protect their own jungle. There will be 3 headed down that way, at least initially, from Vega. And I don't think we're going to see anyone getting too adventurous here, probably just setting up to try to get into position for the runes.
Maybe it's a clock aggressive tri lane. This was something that, oh, you know who it was? LGD International did this. You're mentioning G League.
Oh, yeah.
This was during G League. They would
remember that.
You disrupt, you get the clock on top of them, you cog, and then you shadow wave. So it's like you get the shadow wave bomb, and they can't leave after that. So you're just smacking them the whole time.
Yep.
Okay, so then they're doing aggressive tri lane. Leshrac going off lane, probably 1v1 against Nyx, unless Na'Vi try to dodge this. Yeah, this could be very interesting. If they get that, either tri lane, as long as they go aggressive and get the matchup, I think Vega come out on top here.
About 15 seconds in the horn blowing, and still waiting to see exactly how these lanes are going to shape up. A lot of options on both sides. And I actually, if they end up going aggressive and Na'Vi does not dodge, I'm really favoring Vega here early on. And so far, it doesn't look to be the case, though I doubt they've completely spotted this quite yet. Bounty runes picked up by the Shadow Fiend and the Gyro.
Well, art style. Oh, he's expecting the offlane Clockwork. I think he wants to eat the he wants to eat the tree so that Clockwork can't just cog the creeps in. But little did he know there's 2 heroes here, Aaron. Oh, what a disaster off the bat for art style.
Oh, well, art style once again takes an unfortunate death.
That is a I think he's thinking, okay, someone's going to be back blocking the creep wave.
Yep.
Clockwork's probably just about to cog the creeps in, so I'm just going to go and eat that tree right over here, so that you can't just keep them locked back in the passageway. But wasn't the case, man, and he pays.
Na'Vi is adjusting their lanes, at least it seems. Art style will be making his way back down to bottom.
It seems both teams are.
Yeah.
In the end, they're seeing just a gyrocopter bottom, and after the first blood, they're very confident that Mag will get a lot out of the offlane without needing any support.
Yep. They're going to try to zone him out a little bit, so it will be dual lanes, at least a little bit. Dindy right now is getting some help from Soneko, and he's actually got no one quite low, but only so much going to be accomplished. They're just trying to secure Dindy that early farm. And really, that's going to make or break him. I mean, like you said, left alone, this should be a solid win for the Shadow Fiend. It is a Shadow Fiend on the dire side instead of Radiance, so not going to be as effective in terms of farming the jungle just by shoving waves. But what do you think of Soneko spending most of his time here, even though he is sapping some XP from Dindy?
It's like you said, you definitely need the support early on as a Magnus in this matchup. And Dindy is taking full advantage of it. Already 7-5. Wyvern, one of the better zoning supports at the early levels, I would say. Arctic Burn just allows you to get a lot of extra harassment and makes life a bit harder. Is that one of the new immortals, that ridiculous hammer that he's got? Yeah. Oh, it is. Man, that is like an earthquake when he casts a shockwave.
Basically, if you go, is that an immortal? The answer is usually
the answer is yes.
Yeah, like if it stands out that much, generally always going to be an immortal. Dindy is going to be sandwiched a little bit here. Solo will be there to grab the bounty rune, and Soneko down at bottom grabs the illusion. So to start things off, taking a look at the CS, Mag is doing, or excuse me, the Magnus, played by Dindy, is doing quite well, sitting at 10-5 for himself. Just heard a disruption somewhere, and yep. Should be, I actually didn't say, okay, there was actually a disruption on the Phonic. Phonic's still just level 1, but we're
trying to go in on no one.
Yep, no one in some trouble. There's going to be the TP forced out. So Neko's actually a little slow getting out of there. Solo, though, he didn't have disruption. It was on cooldown.
Yeah, he used to top earlier to harass the clock. I don't really, or sorry, not the clock, the Nyx. I really don't think he needed to. And if he had disruption there, that's a first, or well, a second blood for Vega. Not the biggest deal in the world. They still keep their Shadow Fiend alive. Even though Shadow Fiend's a bit behind, he's going to catch up at some point, as we see Mag being harassed a bit bottom lane. They still have Glimpse available, though, Aaron. This is a little bit dangerous. Mag knows if he just tries to run, he's getting Glimpse back into a Rocket Barrage, potentially, but he drives the Disruptor away and then uses the Fog to get out. And because he's got the Boots Edge, that gives him enough opportunity to get out of Glimpse range.
Well, talking about the battle of the solo offlaners, Phonic just now found his level 2. He's really continuing to struggle. That's compared to level 4. For Mag, or very nearly level 4. CS is quite low. Well, I mean, for poor Phonic, he has 0 as a matter of fact, and a little bit at the very least.
That's a big deal. That is by far the biggest difference between the two lineups this game. Looking at Na'Vi, they're getting a bit more farm on their Magnus versus the Shadow Fiend, but again, that can easily be fixed. Nyx needs levels as an offlaner, and he needs a decent amount of farm. The main thing to me is getting the bottle, Arcane Boots / at least one of those, and the Blink, but he's not going to have it at a quick pace. And This is one of the reasons why in the China qualifier we saw Clock prioritize over pretty much every offlaner because he's always guaranteed his experience just from being able to cog the creep wave back.
Disruption on the Dindy. Bounty runes underneath. Did he get the deny? Nope. Mag manages to, looks like he was trying to deny it, but Bounty Rune is picked up. In the meantime, Vega really, I mean, they need to consider what's going on here in the mid lane because Shadow Fiend's actually losing it. Not completely, but he is at about, call it 4/5 of the CS, or 3/4, excuse me, of Dindy. So Dindy on his way to a quick blink, quick arcane boots, whatever else. And Max picked up a bottle of his own. So
Dindy's got a haste rune. He wants to make a go on mid.
Here we go, moving up. Winter Wyvern there to try to help things out. And there's the skewer on him back, but he ate a lot of damage. In the meantime, Courier way too far forward. And Wyvern can't even help out all that much. Dindy has to use the haste instead to escape. So a bit of a botched attempt that time. And he'll, yeah, he's actually got an empty bottle. So he's going to run all the way back home and TP back to mid. So not the best attempt.
Really nice play by no one, though. If you just try and run, you're dead there. But he gets off 2 raises. I think the third one missed because Dendy kind of ran in a circle around him. But it got Dendy low enough that he couldn't stick around. So had no one done the, kind of the less experienced play and just tried to run away, he dies. But instead, salvages his own life and manages to get back to safety. So well played by him. And yeah, it is really unfortunate. Normally a haste rune in that situation is all but guaranteed kill, but not in this case.
Still remains 1-0 despite a few close calls. Vega remains ahead in that regard. We haven't talked at all about Vega's Leshrac, and he's looking pretty good. Atop the CS board, he's actually doing about 10 CS better, or I guess actually 8, as we look at it now 9, than Havost, which is surprising given that they have done a better job of zoning Mag. See, as soon as I say that, he actually...
Oh, no, you've jinxed him, Aaron.
Yep, now he's going to come out. That's going to be a 2-man cog. He's going to get a kill on the art style, maybe? No, kept alive by Seneko. And a very nice reaction that time. He actually was being zoned out pretty well, but he gained some experience. Speaking of, Funnick has caught up decently well, a little over halfway to level 5 now, so finally getting something working on the Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, that is, as we already discussed, very important for this team. So, looks like there'll be a little skirmish over the bottom rune. Dendy's going to try to make a play here. Seneko has no Arctic Burn. Don't think they can really do much without it. He will be allowed to walk away. But yeah, I think looking at the game and the way it's developing right now, the biggest thing for Vega is just getting level 6 on Mag. He is really the only hero that's going to be able to set up easy kills for the team. They have Disruption into Split Earth, but that's only if you're ganking this top lane, and top lane is Nyx. So you disrupt him, he's just going to pop Carapace, and at best you might be able to run him down with a long, or rather a prolonged chase. So I would like to see Clock get active shortly after he gets level 6. They can even put the Dazzle bottom, as he is a very experienced, hungry support. Just try to sit back and leech a bit. And Mag is getting close to 6. The death slows him down a little, but he already had a great start, as you pointed out correctly. And as a result, he can afford to give up that kill and still have a very timely level 6.
Navi dedicating a bit more effort now to try to zone him out, realizing, oh, there's a glimpse back. Do they have the damage? Rocket Barrage doing the job. A couple of auto attacks. No! Survives with about 50 HP.
Jesus, that was close.
Cut it as close as you could have asked.
There must have been a Stout Shield proc in there. I thought for
no,
sure
he definitely procced. He definitely procced one of the last 2 auto attacks. So, little RNG never hurt nobody, unless your name's Navi. Dindy, in the meantime, is approaching level 6, so his lethality should be going up considerably. So Neko continuing to remain active. He's kind of been all over the place. And
he wants to scout for the Shadow Fiend stacks and see how much is in the jungle right now, or maybe just, I guess, ward it up so that they know when they go to farm them. In fact, he's going to catch no one making this a triple stack here. He might just, I wonder if he blocks it or if he wants it to be built up and then look for his team to steal it.
Oh, Courier. Courier running right by him. 1 auto attack, 2 auto attacks, not going to have the damage. And able to survive with about half HP.
Yeah, he used the Arctic Burn. It's a very long cooldown, and it makes him a lot more vulnerable not having that available. But he's got Dendy in tow, so he should be A-okay. Oh, what? What is going on?
Solo RP'd. And Na'Vi with some trickeration,
and they're going to get the stack as well. This is disastrous.
Well,
for
they were
Vega.
going to get the stack. That was actually really clever, the way that they just kind of stayed, hidden. Seneko showed himself trying to attack the courier, but there was no reaction, and then the courier just flew right back and died. So, unfortunately, the wheels coming off the wagon in a very real way for Vega. All of a sudden, they lose the stack, they lose the courier, and now Na'Vi feeling emboldened, a level 6.5 Dindy.
Oh, that really hurts. I feel like I'm not. Oh, by the way, Seneko, I think he flew over the trees with Arctic Bird and got himself stuck, maybe?
Is he legitimately stuck? He's got a TP. He might be hanging out. Yeah, he's hanging out.
Oh, no,
I was thinking he's compassion.
Yeah. I was just wondering why he's sitting there in solo health. I guess he wants to try and steal the remaining creeps, but he will be able to walk away. Pasha's that was not worth it, Seneko. He's going to try to deny himself?
No
luck. That's a freebie for Vega. I mean, they desperately need kills like that, the way this game's developing.
Well, we're coming up on 10 minutes, and it's been a long day for these teams, I'm sure.
It's still a very even game despite the back and forth. And the big thing is that I think where the game's going to turn is just looking at how the Magnus and the Clockwork are able to play this one out. Mag does not have his level 6 yet. Dendy already has Blink and almost level 7.
Yep.
Look for him to try for a quick kill here on the Shadow Fiend mid.
He's there with Phonic.
He's got, he doesn't have the RP yet, actually.
Yep.
That's odd. Oftentimes you'll see a Magnus player choose to hide the Blink, but I guess Vega may have suspected he had it just because he got all those kills on the stack earlier.
Well, they really need to get level 6 on Phonic. If Phonic's level 6 with Vendetta, that's a 100% sure kill down the bottom. There's going to be a disruption. Seneko again died, back up, and about to die again. We'll go ahead and Cold Embrace himself. Not going to matter, as that's another freebie. Make it 3-3. Vega getting a little help.
Yeah, kind of a topsy-turvy game. Nyx does hit 6, and they have Magnus Blink. So I mentioned just the Mag Blink, but I guess for Na'Vi, they have the advantage of having two really good initiators here. Yep. So time to see if they can make plays with them. It feels like they may need to, as their supports are getting really shut down here.
Kill on Lesh should be a very big deal. He's very quietly farmed 2,400 gold in the bank, and they are rotating kind of in that direction. Didn't he got to stop and take a little bit of farm on the way? Phonic has used his Vendetta for the first time. And yeah, Vega either spotted it or they just have good game senses. They have completely tucked Pash away, knowing that he's a prime target right now.
I think that is more game sense. The Dire have one ward, but it's off near the bottom side of the map, so he's able to dodge that one. Still, Phonic can hide in the trees here and maybe able to catch this track out, depending on how long Pasha's willing to hide.
Now 30 seconds on Vendetta. He's getting a little help now.
Oh, this could be big for him. The art style's level 6 as well. But they're sitting really far back.
It looks like they're just going to hang for the moment, soak some XP. Dindy was kind of walking his way up there, stopped off in the jungle. Now it's going to be 3, though, as Mag is hooked up. There will be a very quick pause from art style. And would expect to see some action coming up sometime soon. But yeah, this Lesh is quietly he has been for a while, actually, the most farmed hero on the map in terms of pure CS anyway. Right behind him, though, is Havost, and Havost doing what Havost does. Didn't start as well as anyone would have liked, but right behind the Leshrac now has continued his item development quite well. Phase Boots Aquila, as well as a Helm of the Dominator and an Ogre Club already back in the base. So
and he's already got a nice stack of Ancients here. He's got a triple, I believe, or I'm actually having trouble.
I think that's
counting.
2. Oh, no.
No, it's a triple. Yep. Yeah. I'm counting the health bars because I can't really. The one wing is covering like 3 creeps. That's
looks like he's giving a big old hug.
Yeah, I love the face on the ancient black dragon. It's got like this derpy walrus. It's like a derpy walrus dragon, not an ancient black dragon.
We still in beta, son.
We beta boys.
Beta boys. Well, hopefully we'll be back underway momentarily. But once again, if you're just tuning in, we are about 12 minutes into Game 2 of this Na'Vi versus Vega Best of 2 series in the European qualifier. And very important for both. Na'Vi coming off of a long and drawn-out but very satisfying win in their previous series against Hellraiser, jumping right into this series as well. So hopefully still riding that momentum. While Vega, not down and out. It's not as if they're really bottom of the tier or in the cellar or anything quite yet. But they really cannot give up an 0-2 here. And if they again give up an 0-2 here, they're going to be going into the next day of games fighting from the bottom up, and that's the last thing you want when you have an opportunity like this on the line, especially given, just given the names and the talent and the experience. Many consider them to be a favorite here in this group.
Oh, they planted a sentry ward top lane, Aaron. They were expecting the Nyx gank, and they're going to find him. Disruption. Soul Catcher, there's the stun. He got off the Carapace, but it's not highly leveled. Now they luke him very low. Pulse Nova's going to finish him off. They knew this was coming. However, Static Storm may turn this one around. Pasha dropping low. Oh, just able to barely skate away. The Vitality booster arriving as that gank ends, so now he gets even harder to kill, but just great game sets by Vega. That's, I believe, 3 skirmishes in a row where they've been in position to completely turn the fights and come out on top.
And again, it comes back to little things. It's all the little things that just add up, and all these little moments. Like when that Blink Dagger was first picked up by Dindy, we saw that poor Funnick was just a little bit underleveled on the Nyx Assassin, didn't have Vendetta in mid, so they had to wait. Instead of getting what would have been 100% a sure kill on the Shadow Fiend, they have to wait and take a shot at top. But by that time, Vega had adapted, and instead, Nyx's first foray into really trying to make something happen with Vendetta goes from being what would have been a sure kill if he had just been a little bit more leveled to instead being a big death up at top. Leshrac getting the, I'm pretty sure he got credit for that if I'm not mistaken. No, never mind, he got the assist. But either way.
He's still getting a lot of farm.
Oh yeah, Bloodstone is not far away.
I think for Na'Vi, this is where they look at the draft and say, okay, we didn't have the best laning stage, but we drafted so that it doesn't necessarily matter. We still have our towers. We have an insanely strong team fight. Mass stun, lots of BKB, piercing, disable, and Dendy gets baited mid.
Whiffed it.
Wah, wah, wah.
Going to be a couple of minutes before he can take his shot again. Down the bottom, we do have the solo laners up against each other just trying to get some XP, and Funnick is really benefiting the most from this. He's caught up. He's now level 7. That's actually about half a level ahead of where Mag sits. So which do you think is actually more important to the success of the composition? Is it the Nyx for Na'Vi or the Clockwork for Vega?
I think the Clock's more important for Vega because he's their only initiator, whereas Na'Vi have the Mag as well as the Nyx. And I would say to some extent even Disruptor can be an initiator with Glimpse. Yeah, Shadow Demon can be. The difference is his range of initiation is extremely low. So yeah, I would say Clock out of all of the initiators, he's got the most overall importance to his team. And Mag's been quiet so far. There hasn't been a ton of pressure. Where I see Mag really being important is more later on in the game, or if Na'Vi try to make a play aggressively. That's where Clock can TP in, hook, look to turn the fight, maybe dust the Nyx as he's retreating out. As you can see, Mag has picked one up. And they are looking to make a go on Funnick. He's got to be careful here in the bottom lane.
Looks like he doesn't want to get too close to the creeps. He's kind of bouncing around. And Mag not even going to throw out the Rocket Flare just to try to take vision. Instead going to bide their time, and I think that's the right call. In the meantime, Vega is getting a fair amount of farm on no one. He is going to have his mech up right now, as a matter of fact. He's got the recipe and the headdress ready to head out that way. Will be forced off of the tower by Sineko.
Look at this stack for Avos. This is just ridiculous.
And this is what Avos does.
I don't think Vega's seen it either. They send a rocket towards top, and Dendy, his blink is disabled right now. It's disabled again, and they're bringing in more reinforcements. They're going to go for this with the Clockwork. Need to be ready with the Glimpse. Oh, Mag instantly brought back. They do get off the hook on Art Style, but he's sent all the way to bottom.
That's
very well played.
They're going to try to continue to engage this out. In the meantime, Na'Vi has hooked up. Art Style's very low, but they're going to be able to bring down Solo. Sineko right there up front. Funnick's going to be there with the mana burn. Seema forced to use the Grave on himself. No one there. Uses his ult. Gets some damage done, and down goes Funnick. Avos in the meantime running out of mana and running out of health. The raises, the damage, the burst. All of that magic coming from the Shadow Raises as well as the Lightning Storm from the Lesh and the Shadow Fiend.
They just have so much spam on their cores. Like, you stick around, the extra raises come flying out. The Requiem didn't really blow anyone up. It just kind of, softened everyone up.
Them a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. The fight looks so good for Na'Vi. They glimpsed the clock back. The hook doesn't result in a kill. Shadow Fiend walked in to try and Requiem right over here, and he immediately gets Static Storm, so his Requiem doesn't go off right away. They, on top of that, get a really nice, Nyx Assassin stun off in the middle of the fight, but they just got chipped away at too much. And I think part of it is Havost did not go straight BKB. He's gone for the Dominator. If he has a BKB in that fight, that is a completely different engagement. But
oh, Dindy in mid. Just caught being greedy. He will make it to the high ground. No, one auto attack would have done it, but he's able to. Oh, never mind. Shadow Demon gets the bonus damage and the kill. So well played. Thought they. I honestly didn't even see that they had the Soul Catcher on him, but
it was the demonic purge finally kicking in at the end there.
Yep.
So yeah, very well played. And well, we haven't seen a good RP yet. We actually haven't seen really anything out of the RP, despite a very fast blink from Dendy. I mean, remember, he rushed this thing. He did not complete Arcane Boots. He had a great start in the lane, but having all your farm concentrated in a mag, if he doesn't find RPs, I mean, this is not a core, right? That's not a Shadow Fiend, at least not a traditional carry type hero. You need to be making plays for the team, so I'm a little worried for Na'Vi. At the same time, it's like, until this team is down 15, 20k gold and being sieged, the type of lineup they have can just win one fight, and it's suddenly a 5-man wipe, and it's back to dead even. Good news for Na'Vi. They clear out the ancient stack. Kavos, I think, realizing I really need my BKB before the next engagement, and he will be rather close to it. Meanwhile, we're going to see Vega smoke up. Do they want to try and go for this Roshan? Seems like maybe trying to set something up in the bottom lane. If they get a kill and it's on a key hero, they can walk into the Rosh pit and take the Aegis at this point. So Na'Vi do have to be quite careful at this moment.
Will be a smoke as Na'Vi ready to make a run at Vega. Vega has 3 over here. However, let's see, at least 1 is smoked. Solo is hidden. So they may be able to sniff this out. Okay, never mind. Seema Smoke either wore off or he intentionally got rid of it. This will be a 3-on-3. What's the attack angle going to be? So Neko may have gotten spotted, and here we go. Trying to engage in.
Clock is coming.
And there's going to be the glimpse back. No one able to walk out of it, though. Dindy hits a 2-man RP. Follow-up should be there. Defensive disruption from Solo's on point, but they do manage to bring one down already. No one in the meantime does get the ulti off.
And doing BKB, just so much damage. He's fighting his way through all of Vega, forcing them back. It's actually a 3-for-2, though, as they didn't manage to bring down the Leshrac. While that double ult, they're not done yet. Chase continues there, and there's the Shockwave buyback on the Winter Wyvern, and Vega going to be happy with that and just walk away. Missile will chase. They do have a Blink Skewer soon, but it's very risky to go in this far. While there was the 2-hero RP, there was simultaneously also a 2-hero hookshot cog. So both teams got a great initiation, except for the Static Storm. That was a very costly whiff. If that hits a couple of heroes, Na'Vi just crushed that fight.
Shadow Demon's defensive disruption was gigantic there. That's what kept that fight going following the RP.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Solo getting the job done, and it looks like we're ready for round 2. They're ready to lock and load and go once again. Well, they know that RP's down.
Well, it's Funnick going for the mini Ravage stun here. Oh,
here we go. Oh, Dindy actually already skewered forward. And, or jumped forward and try to skewer back. Mag in the meantime, caught, locked down. He's eating a lot of damage. Shadow Wave's there to try to help, but the cooldown's there, and the Grave will keep him up and fighting. No one down yet. And
disruptions, you mentioned it. It's changing the game right now. Mag being pursued by a homing missile. They'll clean it up. Every fight, it's like Vega lose almost every single hero.
Glimpse back. They got Pasha. Can they do anything with it? Funnick's there with the follow-up impale.
He's got a Bloodstone deny if he really needs it, but they still have heals coming out. Disruption about to cool down. Na'Vi really want to chase now. Havos does have BKB, but has to be careful he doesn't waste these charges. There's the Blade Skewer. They keep the Shadow Demon away. No defensive disruption for you, sir, and that is a big kill. Although Lesh instantly is going to respawn.
The hook on the Dindy, he didn't mean to do that. He was actually looking to hook Nyx Assassin and missed. Ends up hitting Dindy. He ends up dying because of it. So Na'Vi gets given a free one, and Soneko dies to a Shadow Race. Now Funnick caught from behind with the Demonic Purge. He's dead. Call down on point, but Havos has got to run. Ulti from no one, just practically to celebrate as Dindy's next on the list. Suddenly Na'Vi is down to 1 man, and he is limping his way back to base. So Vega, and again, that was really bizarre. I don't know if you saw it, but the clock, it looked like he was trying to hook the Nyx Assassin. He missed, it went long, and ended up hooking him into a very deep Magnus. So he was dead before he could really contribute much of anything.
Yeah, it wasn't the hook he wanted, but it still works out. And the main reason why Lesh had 12 Bloodstone charges. So he respawned, I think it was like 5 seconds.
Right.
He's instantly back in with all his cooldowns. Meanwhile, Havos, he doesn't have a Bloodstone. He didn't die. He's got like a quarter of his health or half his health. BKB was cooling down. He got a second call down. That fight took so long, and still they end up coming up a bit short. And it's really the power of a fed Lesh early on. This hero can just completely change the game. And I think the fact that he just dishes out so much damage and builds Bloodstone a lot is one of the reasons why we're seeing him prioritized over a lot of other carries. He just is basically able to fight 24/7, whereas these like more traditional team fight heroes like Gyrocopter can excel, but that is the one downside. Use your cooldown BKB at this stage of the game. If you don't have a big fight, you're basically not doing anything for about a minute.
Speaking of, both teams have separated out. Happy to take some farm and take a bit of a breather from each other. And I'm actually unable to... Oh, there. Never mind. Somebody remapped the keys. I was going to say, net worth-wise and gold-wise, still a very close game. About 3,000 in both categories. So Vega has built up a considerable kill lead. But if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it actually is in favor of them in both regards. But we've yet to see Na'Vi really put together the big combo potential we know they have. We've seen them hit some damage. We've seen them get the job done here and there. But for the most part, we have yet to see them really put it all together. And I think if they're able to do that, it's going to break Vega's back. But that's getting harder and harder to do whenever you have like BKB coming out on this Leshrac. And he is just absolutely immensely farmed. Top's on the board in net worth.
He's a monster. And the big concern is, although they have a lot of BKB piercing lockdown, they have almost no BKB piercing damage right now. Right. Gyrocopter is building a Yasha. Yeah, actually, I guess with Empower, I take that back. They have decent BKB piercing damage, but it's not exceptional. And the other thing is Savos does, BKB is already down to 8 seconds. So pretty soon it's going to be a 5-second BKB. And that's something that could really be punished by this pretty heavy magic damage draft that Vega have. Here comes Na'Vi, though. Straight down the middle lane. They want to push. Risky to go in against Clockwork. They've now seen the Leshrac BKB, and this may deter Na'Vi's aggression. I don't know if you mentioned it, but there's a haste rune bottled up on Dendi, and
nope.
This is a rune that could make a big difference.
There's going to be a smoke. Very aggressive out of Na'Vi. Which way are they going to go? They're going to head south.
I think they might have just seen the animation. They smoked, like, right here. It was close anyway.
Shadow Fiend and Dazzle trying to snake themselves a Roshan. The medallion, somebody's got one. I thought I heard one. Yeah, Solo has one.
Oh, but they're going to spot this one out, Aaron. They're smoking in. 2 smokes about to cross paths.
They are spread out really well. So long as they don't come together, they're going to... Oh, they actually have a sentry down. They're able to spot Funnick. And no one immediately uses the BKB. There's going to be the call down, but Havos whiffs on it. Didn't catch anyone, so that's one big ult they're not going to have at their disposal. And they're already lacking the Nyx. This Roche down to about half health. There's a DD.
Oh,
good deny. Good deny.
Really wanted that.
Good deny. Solo making plays.
Mag is just waiting as well. If Havos runs in the river, Mag's going to hook in and cut off the rest of the team, and then Havos is going to be left in a 1v5. I don't think they can actually contest this anymore. Maybe with Dendi. Blink, Skewer, at least going to find a pick-off.
Defensive disruption. Keeps himself alive. Wastes a little time at the very least. Doesn't matter, as Roche should be dropping in the meantime.
They're going in. They've got the RP on Dendi. Can't
find the target. And now he's going to solo RP no one. There's the follow-up hook. Dendi spending the RP to get nothing accomplished. Behind that, the fight rages on. Havos has to make a run for it as Pasha is right on his tailpipe. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to catch him. Ends up being a 3-for-1, and the one they got for free. Like, they didn't have to engage to get that single kill.
Oh, man.
And it's crippling. Crippling.
Losing the Magnus as well as 2 additional heroes there when it could have just been a 1-for-1. The Nyx in exchange for the Shadow Demon. The good news was they had forced out a BKB charge from the Leshrac. So that's the Leshrac BKB, 10-second duration gone. Same for the Shadow Fiend. It's still a win for Vega getting the Aegis, but it's not an undefeatable advantage they gained. This though is a big advantage now. Getting those kills, getting the Aegis on top of it. Na'Vi are going to have to just focus on playing more defensively at this point. Use the advantage that their lineup has in a turtle situation. Farm Havos towards a late game monster type build. I think they've lost almost all of their ability to force large 5v5 fights, at least for now.
I'm a little baffled by that RP from Dendi. I mean, Dendi, one of the best decision makers in the game.
It happens. You know, he tries to run in the pit, and unfortunately, the timing was off. If Roche had if it was 2 more seconds to kill Roche, he probably gets a 3-horror RP, and then Disruptor can get a Static Storm on 3 as well. But instead, they'd already gotten the Roche. They're already leaving the pit, and yeah, it did turn out to be a total train wreck for Na'Vi in the end.
Let's talk about where we go from here. Vega, happy to go ahead and rotate, clear out of Tier 1. This is probably a fight that's going to be dodged. And are they going to continue to push? I think they're in a good enough position. They can, so long as they replicate what they did last time, which is they kept such a good spread. Like, no matter who came in, no matter what they saw, even whenever the Knicks came in and the BKB was popped, the temptation to just go, okay, here comes the rest of Na'Vi, let's just go ahead and rush in, had to be tremendous. Instead, they kept an amazing split and avoided any RP. Missed on the skewer.
Oh, they really need a play like that. That is the key for Na'Vi here. Is you might, if you can't find that, you probably just have to sacrifice the tower.
There's going to be a call down. No one eating most of that damage.
I like how Solo walks in to take the call down. He's like, yeah, whatever. I don't even mind.
Wow, waste of a glimpse there. Art style, unable to get the kinetic field together.
They're basically just trying to spam their abilities to soften Vega up and more importantly to hope for like that one hero caught out of position that you can then blink skewer and either pop the Aegis or get a free pick, but they're just not quite able to find that opening.
They've got Mag in a good position over to the right. And he'll be happy to go. Havos is a pretty prime target. Havos' mana is actually quite low right now as well. He will have call down, back off cooldown in about 10 seconds. They've got 2 minutes remaining on the Aegis, so if they want to put it to use, they need to do it now. There's a preemptive weave fresh off of cooldown as well. And at some point, they just need to commit. Like, if they really want this fight and really want to get some mileage out of the Aegis, they need to go real soon.
Navi's they're doing a really good job at holding this, to be honest. Vega keeps on pressing in, but they're a little afraid to overly commit because of the threat of that blink skewer play, and as a result, it's taking longer. Otherwise,
here we go.
There
Blink
you go.
skewer, no one caught. We'll go ahead and use the ulti, and nice damage done. That's enough to clear them out. And yep, they're going to be able to demonic purge on art style. Didn't even need it. I think they could have killed him regardless.
And found a Bose. This is the bigger kill. He's got nowhere to run. Fortunately, he's a BKB TP. If they had something else to break the TP there, that is a devastating pickoff. But it does force out his BKB Iron. And with no BKB on Gyro, I feel like Vega could even look for the tier 2 mid. Though the Aegis is ending soon. They're kind of low, so.
Waves pushed up as well. They would have to reset.
Yeah, so perhaps they just let it go. By the way, Leshrac already another soul booster picked up. And
jeez.
Well on his way to a potential Octarine core pickup, I'm guessing.
Yep, pub build.
And well, it's just... At some point, Leshrac gets to that stage of the game where he stands with 5 heroes whacking him.
LOL.
That's the thing, is they have BKB piercing stuns, but if he's got Pulse Nova active, it keeps on going. It's like a Death Prophet, except he's going to be lifestealing it all back.
Well, and it's kind of got that effect like of a satanic almost. Like you walk in and you go, okay, I'm gonna just chill, I'm gonna do my thing. And you hold on to your BKB until you're about half health, then you BKB, and then you regen your health so quickly if things are clumped up around you.
Exactly. You don't want to go on him, but you absolutely cannot ignore him. And that's
Solo. That rocket barrage, good disruption. Now Havos has to use his BKB. They're coming in. Havos is way out front by himself, going to try to TP away, and should be able to do so. Behind that, Soneko's actually got high ground. They're going to guess that happened due to Cogs. And damage not there. So they are able to get him home as well. Solo did end up dying at the end of everything else, but a relatively small kill for Na'Vi. But a kill is a kill, and they're buying some time. Havos farm, I'm not sure it's where it needs to be right now.
He's doing well considering the situation, but it's getting to the point where he's going to need to be the most farmed hero on the map because look at everyone else. Disruptor, Wyvern's starting to fall pretty far behind his I will miss a Nyx kill. Does find the Clockwork. Nice pick off for Funnick. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's getting to that point where Na'Vi will need a massive RP to win engagements. You look at Vega, they have 2 really fat cores. They have Disruption and basically 2 great defensive supports. Disruption, Grave, Heal. If you only RP 1 core, even if you kill them, that's not really enough. You have to get both. Either with like a Blink Skewer on one and RP on another, or RP one and then you Static Storm, Nyx stun, burst another. It's just going to be very difficult to find those openings with such a strong defensive lineup, but Dendi will find Pasha.
BKB does manage to catch 2. Do they have the damage? Pasha doing just fine.
That's going to be a negative.
Yep.
Savost is not there.
Havos trying to get away and will be able to do so. Heard a glimpse. Didn't hear who it was. Artstyle will be disrupted out of his TP. A little bit of miscommunication, not that it's going to matter tremendously. He just disappeared. Like, he literally, like, he disappeared as soon as he came out of that.
Yeah, he got soul catchered. I think it was one tick of Pulse Nova and one raise, and he was just dead, like deleted from the game. That was really funny.
Well, 21-12, and this is beginning to look. I mean, Havost, again, it's not his fault. He is relatively well farmed, but the fall off from there is just so tremendous. And
I'm not sure. The one thing I'm really not sure about is this Sanjin Yasha, but I feel like the way the game's going, he needs to be. Sanjin Yasha is great, I feel, when you're playing from ahead with Gyrocopter.
Right.
If you want the extra move speed, it does help you stay in range for Rocket Barrage. It's kind of an easy build-up, so you can just keep on fighting constantly instead of having to wait to farm a bigger item like a Butterfly or maybe a Scotty. But the way the game's developing, Havost really needs like that Satanic MKB type of itemization, or Satanic Daedalus, perhaps, something like that. And he did get a Yasha, but I feel like he already had it when the game was kind of close. So I think you obviously it's not like the Yasha was bad necessarily, but just sit on the Yasha, get something a little bit bigger that makes you more of the mega carry. Well, at this point, you know, the damage is done as far as the item build. He's just going to have to find his farm from here. And the thing that makes it tough is losing that Tier 1 and Tier 2 mid and top. There's very little control over the Radiant Ancients, and if they try to stack them, Vega might just swoop in and steal that stack for themselves.
Vega basically has a run of the map, and a big part of that is because Pasha is so fat, he's got a gravitational field. He's got 16 Bloodstone charges. He's got his BKB. Even though he's been active with it, he still has at least 7 seconds on it. Octarine Core is done. He is just absolutely massive at this point. And I don't know how they begin to deal with it. I mean, he's just way too overleveled. Now they have a Scotty done on no one as well as he's just continuing to farm up. Roche is going to be back up soon.
These carries aren't going to die.
No, they're just not.
I mean, the only way that they burst them is if they get off RP and Winter's Curse on at least one of them, ideally both. And again, you've got a Shadow Demon. You've got Grave. Grave has extremely long range when it's maxed, and yeah, at this point it is. Plus, I think there's a Force Staff or a Blink on Solo. Yeah, Force Staff on him. So, I mean, good luck. But they have to outplay Vega at this point. It's the stage of the game where they need to find pickoffs with Dendi, farm Havost. If Vega go for the high ground siege, they need that Blink Skewer play. Maybe they start off with like a glimpse into Blink Skewer. But ultimately, they have to pull a core out of position so that they can't be Grave
Pasha
or
just got
disrupted.
caught. Do they have any help? Nope. Pasha was trying to TP away and actually got caught in Mana Burn. Mana Burn, by the way, does a significant amount of damage to him.
It really does. That's one of their biggest damage-dealing spells. Of course, there's still a 7-second BKB, but if it's down, then yeah, that's probably their best tool for trying to kill him.
Force Staff done on the Nyx Assassin. The itemization out of Na'Vi, slow, but not non-existent. Nope, that's not a word. Non-existent. Vega is going to go ahead and smoke. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's Na'Vi with the little satyr in the Roche pit. They check and they see Roche is up. There is a Mind Stealer there, and they're going to go ahead and immediately kill it. And are they going to go for it? They are. Na'Vi is way spread out. They do not have an outer tier tower. This should be a free Roshan.
Yeah, this is absolutely free. If Na'Vi leave the base and contest this and they lose a fight at the pit, presumably they're going to use RP, right? And probably call down as well. Probably Gyro BKB. Vega go and just take 2 racks, top as well as mid. So I don't think Na'Vi should even consider contesting this. They're way too far behind. They're also very reliant on that big long cooldown ultimate, which is where it's super risky to go for that play. But this now means Vega may try to break the base.
Well, one thing that is worth mentioning, despite how many kills Vega has piled up, despite how farmed their cores are, if you take a look at the gold and net worth graphs, Na'Vi has actually been slowly eating away at the lead. I'm not saying that's going to win it for him. I'm not saying this is going to be a 3-hour game. They're somehow going to get that back to even that way. But it is nice to know that they have not been continually losing ground. They still are.
It is impressive how close they've kept it.
Yeah. So if they can win 1-2 fights, if Vega makes 1-2 big mistakes, suddenly get a ball game again. But
they need that one fight. Again, it starts with the Blink Skewer. If they find it, anything's possible. If they can't, I think it's almost impossible to kill either of these cores.
And Tier 2, last outer tier tower remaining for Na'Vi. They glyph it, and down it goes.
Vega are feeling strong, though. Here they go. 4 heroes pushing in bottom. It's clock Clock City mid. He wants to cancel Havos TP when he tries to TP back. This could be massive.
Got it! Oh, such a big play, and Havos has to try to walk back home down at bottom. The tier 3 under siege. And Na'Vi, there's going to be an RP. They don't have Havos. There's a defensive disruption, and the kinetic field static storm is there. There's the Grave, though. Impale going to catch a couple, but there's no damage. No way to follow. Na'Vi on the run. Have to head back to the fountain.
And Havos is still walking back towards the base. He's got MKB gold, Aaron, but by the time he gets here,
racks are gone.
Oh, what a disaster. And what an amazing play by Mag. Single-handedly secures them a full lane of racks.
Yep. And not just the, that's the kind of thing where, I mean, just the awareness to be like, hey, we're in a position to push. Havos is greedy. He's going to farm as many creeps as he can. You have time, get into position, make it happen, and then hitting the clutch shot. They only did get the melee racks. Range rack still stands, but, I mean, the ability for Na'Vi to get onto the other side of the map now is going to be so non-existent. And to be honest, we've reached a point where, yes, Empower and Flat Cannon are nice, but you're talking a Shadow Fiend and a Leshrac that are absolutely gigantic. MKB be damned. I mean, that's going to help a ton, and it certainly gives them a little bit more potential to take that big fight they still need. But, I mean, just look at this team. No one with the Demon Edge, 2,500 gold on top of the BKB mech and the Scotty, and on the other side, Leshrac, who has added a Shiva's Guard to his inventory as well. So not only does he have Magic Immunity, not only does he have 17 Bloodstone charges and an Octarine Core to regen, he has armor now. So, I mean, just tremendous play out of Vega.
It's going to be really hard to hold this next push. The biggest issue is they did not crack the Aegis in the last fight, which means Vega still have extra lives. They have so many saves. The Aegis is the big one. The TP, well, actually, Pasha does not have boots of travel cult, so that's one small piece of good news, but he'll respawn instantly. He can just run down mid. Disruption, of course, the Grave. The Shadow Fiend has a mech available. Both BKBs are up. This is the last stand. Na'Vi absolutely must get a big pick, or they will lose 2 lanes of racks.
Well, no one. Getting a fair amount of damage for free out front. And like you said, the initiation potential on both sides is potent. Mag with the hook. Dindy looking to make something happen with a Blink Skewer or a Blink RP. Let's see how Vega want to play it. Are they going to pull back?
Yeah, they may decide to play it a little bit safer here. They've got, let's see, about a minute and a half on the Aegis. Maybe they want to go mid instead. And the other thing is no one has his next item now. He's got 3,300 gold. I'm curious if he wants to complete an MKB here. Is he going dataless? Or is he just going to hold on to his gold for now and maybe save for a potential buyback if needed? He's just walking back towards the base. Is he thinking Rapier? Is he going for it, Aaron?
I want to know.
Is this a Rapier?
Be nice if it was.
If he farms these Ancients, he would pretty much have the gold for it. I want to believe. I don't think it is a Rapier, but it would be nice.
Havos, maybe. Maybe eventually. Don't think no one's going to go that direction. And
it's more just like he almost had the gold for it. He had not bought the MKB. He walks to the side. Secret shop. It's like, come on, man. No. Do it for the viewers. Think of the fans.
He went crit stick. Picked up the, yep, Crystallis on the way out to him right now.
Everyone report this guy. No, of course. This is TI qualities. You do what you got to do, man.
Well, they're going to slowly rotate back towards bottom. And they got a double wave heading in. They are spread out, so they're not going to be able to utilize that to the fullest.
Looks like they'll get a free range Drax here, just from the creeps pushing in.
That's going to be close.
One more catapult shot.
No. Still alive. Aegis is gone.
Done. One more creep. Give it a smack. Oh, no. They're pulling him back. Range Drax saved.
14 HP.
Just deny it.
Do it. Do it, guys. Do you feel like that was the right call? Like, I feel like Vega basically gave away an Aegis for nothing.
Oh, you mean as far as not forcing the issue?
Yeah.
I think they still go really late. Like, as much as I would favor Na'Vi if they get a good initiation, but only if they get one. We've seen Dendy struggle to find amazing RPs this game. Yep. He's gotten
two-man.
I think like 2-man RPs have been the best. Maybe there was one 3-man RP, but they also haven't converted into kills. So that's where I feel like Navi's lineup, the execution is always going to be the challenge for them. And so I think Vega have more room to grow here. No one can replace the mech. I would say he can also get like a Satanic at some point. There's no AA this game, so it's a really nice pickup. Seema the Slayer's got his BKB on Dazzle nearly. That's a pretty big item. Other than that, clock eggs should be done soon, and I mean the Lesh getting boots of travel
That's
too.
big, yeah.
So yeah, I think they've. I would say the next stage, this is where they should really be looking to get 2 lanes of Rex and end the game, and they should have it fairly soon.
For now, Na'Vi continuing to play defensive. Soneko trying to be cute, flying through the woods, and they know he's there, but it doesn't look like they want to over-pursue. Disruptor, in the meantime, has picked up a scepter of his own.
The downside to not pushing, though, is that they have now the Disruptor Eggs and the Refresher Mag, which they did not have before. So you do bring up a good point that it's kind of... It is giving Na'Vi that chance to claw their way back in the game. Havost also got his first damage item earlier. Now he's got 2,800 gold. Soon he's going to have a Satanic, so... It does get a bit trickier here for Vega, and there's always that risk, like no matter how late it gets. RP on 3 or 4, with flat cannon on a gyrocopter, your whole team's dead.
Well, I feel like the Refresher's really, that's the item more so than any other on the map right now that has a chance to blow the game wide open. You know, we haven't seen that earth-shattering RP, or even on the good RPs we have seen, we just haven't seen the follow-up. But if you're able to catch lightning in a bottle, if you're able to get able to get one of the two major cores, or maybe even both of them, plus a support, and you catch them before BKBs are deployed and so on, suddenly that's 8 seconds you're going to have to try to bring them down. And Havost now has the damage for that. I mean, you know, we didn't even really talk about this. We talked about the combo potential of Shadow Demon and Dazzle, but these two heroes, just so far as keeping people alive and keeping each other alive, is a big deal as well. Being able, you know, if they engage on a Shadow Demon, being able to grave him. If they engage on a Dazzle, being able to disrupt.
Even just the weave. Weave versus Gyro with Empower is so crucial. Having all that plus armors, it's the main damage that Na'Vi have later on in this game. They don't have like a Leshrac for a massive magical damage type carry. Later on, cooldown's just kind of
Right.
You know, it's not really that much for heroes that have 2,500 health on Shadow Fiend. He's going to have a Satanic. The Leshrac running around with 2,500 as well. So that's where, I mean, you bring up a really good point that Dazzle is just devastatingly good against this type of physical damage heavy lineup.
Yep. Well, for now, Vega continues to wait it out. Roshan back up in about a minute or two. So for now, just looks to be a farming game for both sides. And unfortunately for Na'Vi, as much as we were bragging on them for keeping it close, that's no longer the case. As we can see, the difference in net worth and overall experience has begun to tank down. So even though they have been given some time to make up a little bit of ground and itemize a little bit more deeply into their development, it's still a tough row to hoe. As we can see, Havost is really the only one anywhere near where he needs to be, and he's sitting right on the tail of the Shadow Fiend and the Leshrac. But I mean, at some point, it's got to become a rapier game. Like, you're not going to be able to get that damage out against these heroes the more they tank up, unless you're willing to take the gamble. Problem is, there's just so much he needs in front of it.
Yeah, well, I would love to see one, but I don't think you get it quite.
No.
Daedalus will probably be the next item. I'd say Daedalus, Satanic, and then maybe as your last item, you consider a rapier. Right. Boots of Traveler may need to come into the mix. Like if they've lost a second lane of Rax, he may have to spend a lot of time pushing lanes out. But here we go. Na'Vi, I think they realize if Vega get the next Aegis, they're almost certainly getting a second lane of Rax. So they smoke, but Vega are anticipating this.
Who's going to get the initiation? Funix way out front. BKB immediately used. Soneko, jeez, critted down immediately. Hooks off the mark, but it doesn't matter. Na'Vi's got to run for the hills.
They've got an Axe on clock. They're going to have another hook.
Buyback. And the hook did come out, unable to follow up with it, though.
Oh, no, he's got it now. This is the second. Too late. He jumped in with the cogs with the force staff. Then they glimpse him back, but he had that second hook cooldown just like, I don't know, 3-4 seconds too late to follow up. Okay, they force out the buyback.
Well, they forced out the buyback, but it did cost no one another BKB charge. And BKB, Roche is going to be back up. If they linger, that's just unfortunate timing. If they linger just another 10 seconds, if that, they're going to see the big guy jump back up. And they're going to continue to hang in the vicinity. Yep, he's up now. Solo going to check it.
It's towards the max respawn, which is where both teams are very likely to just stick around the pit. But and they also should rock it if they're not sure. We'll see if they go for it. Right now, they're more worried about keeping tabs on the Na'Vi heroes than they are on Roche. Roche is not going anywhere. Na'Vi could come from anywhere.
Pasha heads on into the pit.
Funnick's thinking about making a move here as well. He's up perched on the high ground. They start to see some heroes walk in, and he is in Viz currently. He saw the movement.
There's the RP, only got one. It is, beautiful disruption.
He has a refresher, but this next one has to be brilliant.
Here we go, Mag. Right there, Havost is caught inside of the cogs. He's just being right-clicked down by no one. Did survive by the skin of his teeth thanks to the Winter Wyvern. Now there's going to be a skewer. RP is back up if he wants it. He's up on the high ground trying to get out of dodge. Pasha there, helped out by Mag, who connects with the hook. So Neko saved. I mean, we had two amazing saves, one on each side that time. Unfortunately, still comes out in favor of Vega as they go 3 for 2. What a disruption from Solo to keep the Shadow Fiend alive, allow him to actually engage on his own terms. But a very beautiful play from the Winter Wyvern as well, using the Cold Embrace to keep Havost alive at next to no health.
Yeah, great saves on both sides. Unfortunately, right before because they blink skewered towards the end of that fight, Havost was almost dead. He got Cold Embrace. Then they tried to blink skewer the Leshrac away from him so Dendy could save Havost. Unfortunately, Leshrac had thrown a stun out, which hit the ground right before that, so he ends up dying anyway. And that's the thing for Vega. They have two heroes that can carry, that can just win fights for the team, the Leshrac and the Shadow Fiend, whereas Na'Vi, they only have Gyrocopter. The rest of these heroes are all about setting up for him, and like you said, just a great disruption. That's really what made the fight. If he gets, say, the Shadow Demon and the Shadow Fiend and gets the skewer out of the pit, I think Na'Vi actually wins that fight.
But it's really good positioning, too, because Solo was hanging way, way back in the pit, like as far as he possibly could be.
Yeah, and Denny was expecting like the more traditional, like, kind of 2 or 3 heroes just clumped up on top of Roche, just, you know, wailing away at him, but wasn't the case.
Just not needed.
They still have the potential, but it's getting to that point where so many things have to go wrong for Vega, and everything has to go right for Na'Vi. And I won't say it's insurmountable with this draft, but it's getting close.
I don't know how they kill Lesh once, let alone twice. I don't know
he's
how
actually
they
so big. He's got look at his mono regen. 113 mono regen.
He's got a regen.
Yeah. I think he still has like 50 plus even without the regen rune though.
No, it's gigantic. I mean, 21 stacks on his bloodstone. Even if he okay, so they're gonna have to kill him 3 times essentially, because he's gonna die once and lose the Aegis. He's gonna die twice and respawn immediately off of 21 bloodstone charges, and then teleport back in, and then they got to kill him a 3rd time. I don't know how. I really don't.
At some point, he also gets a refresher orb, and that means he's got double BKB, double Shivas, and of course, all his other spells basically have no cooldown.
Well, he's going to go down and take a little bit more farm.
Yeah, if you're Vega right now, you push in all the lanes, get the equilibrium going your way, and they have the boots of travel to make it easy, and then they look for their second lane of Vrax. This will give Dendy a chance for his refresher to cool down, but I still feel this is the Aegis and Cheese with which you want to fully break the base.
Yep. Satanic now as well.
That was the last item they're waiting for. Now both carries are very close to unkillable. Shrek gets another ultimate orb. Well, an ultimate orb, I should say. I think he's looking for a Hex here. He should have one relatively soon.
Vega, ready to go high ground. Let's see if Na'Vi's got the goods. The Mana Burn does so much damage.
It's really their only other damage besides Gyro.
Hang on. There's going to be a glimpse back.
Donk.
Hang on. Hook comes in. Manages to catch out Funnick. Helped up on the Winter. No, he actually got pushed down by the cogs in the low ground. Funnick in so much trouble. Force stats back to the high ground, but the BKBs are out. Havost already down to half health. His BKB is off, as is no one's. There's a disruption once again from Solo that'll keep Pasha out of the line of fire. Now might be the time. I think it's much worse for Havost to be lacking his BKB than it is for Vega. For no one, excuse me. There's going to be a solo RP. They're going to skewer him back. He has the refresh. We'll go ahead and do so. Skewers him even further back. Uses the cheese now. Able to bring him down, but no, beautiful grave. Once again, 3-man cogs. And Vega has Na'Vi on the run once again. They do get the Shadow Demon, but they lost Havost in the process. Buybacks on both he and the Disruptor. Havost and Artstyle ready to come back out. But Pasha still has all.
Get me out of here. He's got the grave and the heal. Mag should be fine.
There's a well-shot splitter. There's going to be a glimpse. Nope,
he BKB dodged it. Very nicely done. This rocket's still following Mag. It's going to hurt. Oh, why didn't he just stay near the... He could have just stayed near the Shadow Priest so he could grave him. Not sure
Solo, barely able to make it away. So even though they hold ground, they did not get the Aegis, and more importantly, it cost them 2 buybacks. So Navi's got to make something happen very, very soon.
Well, they hold, but it was an expensive hold. Just especially Havost having to buy back, extremely costly, and he needs that Satanic Daedalus. Again, something I mentioned in the draft, which I think is really showing right now, is how good Shadow Demon. God, there's so many shadows in this game. Shadow Fiend, Shadow Priest, Shadow Demon. It's the Shadow strat, but yeah, Shadow Demon's Purge is just so good against Gyro because of his low attack range. He gets Purged, and he just can't actually do anything. Compared to the Shadow Fiend, who's got a full 600 range to work with, can easily harass heroes back from distance. They hold, but this next hold's going to be the really tough one.
And Vega happy to go ahead and reset. Think they'll wait on another Aegis?
I don't know about another Age. I think you want to go while Havost doesn't have buyback. I think what they wait for is just for everyone to respawn, get all the lanes pushed out again, and then just at least gently siege the base, because they still have the Aegis on the Leshrac. It was the Shadow Fiend who died in the last fight, so I think you go with this one. You've got, well, actually this one's about to expire. I think you still go. I don't think you wait for the next one, but we'll see. They could look to play it safe. They are starting to get to that point where it's like there's not actually that many more items to buy. Leshrac has Hex.
He's 6-slotted.
Yeah, he's 6-slotted, and he can have a refresher in the stash. Yep. So when he respawns, he can get a new BKB and a new Hex, but that's really about it.
4-minute respawn on Roshan, so if they want to wait, it'll be a kind of a short one. And nope, they're going to 5-man, at least for the moment, straight down mid. And once again, they're just so gigantic. And Havost's damage output, I mean, it's not what they want it to be, and that's one problem, but the biggest problem is he just is getting lit up by no one in particular. Like you said, between the Demonic Purge and the Scotty, he just can't move. He can't do anything.
That's true. I mentioned the Purge, but yeah, it's also the fact that it's stacking with the Scotty slow, which is just so hard to get anything done. This Hex is big, though. If Havost gets Hexed, as many good defensive supports as Vega has, Na'Vi has nothing, really. The Glimpse won't help against these BKBs, and I guess they have...
Oh, Havost. He's out front.
Oh, no. This could be it. This Hex could win the game.
There it is. There's the hook. Oh, good Force Staff. Manages to get him out. And they're going to try to follow this up. I thought for sure they were going to catch him. There's going to be an RP. Once again, only... Oh, he missed the skewer! Now, the fight's going to continue to rage, but not... Oh, the miss on the RP. He hits the second RP.
Can they they're going to get both the Shadow Fiend going down as well as the Shadow Demon. The Leshrac also dying, but he's going to be coming back here in just a couple of seconds with that Bloodstone. Excellent hold, though, in the end. They get both cores. They kill off the Shadow Demon. They lose nobody. Aaron, that's the 7,000 Cold Swain that Na'Vi have been waiting for. It just takes one good RP. The first one wasn't even good.
No, it was awful.
But that's what the refresher is for.
And they missed the skewer as well.
Oh, my. That quick thinking there by Dendy. He had the Force Staff out of the cogs ready almost instantly. If they get in range for the Hex and then they're able to follow that up, they just lose the fight. Because remember, if Havost dies and it's not with like all of Vega already dead, they probably lose the game because Havost has no buyback available for 3 full minutes. And at this point, maybe you do wait for the rush. I think Vega are going to think twice after that fight.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you who came through that time. Like you mentioned, the Force Staff was so on point and saved the game for sure. Art style, let's be honest, his kinetic fields and his static storms have been a little shaky this game. That time it was right where it needed to be. Vega hung around way too long. They should have disengaged whenever things didn't go their way. They tried to be real sneaky, trying to smoke into the lane without racks. Then they just hung around and they got, I mean, that was the RP. Didn't need to get 3 or 4. He just needed to get 2, and it needed to be the right 2, and it definitely was. So, like you said, that's gigantic. Look at the gold graph now and the gold XP graphs. Like, the swing is real.
One more fight and it's going to be almost an even game.
Yep.
If it goes that way. And that was only 3 kills. It wasn't even, it's not like they team wiped them or anything.
Right.
They got the cores, and that's what counts.
And Lesh lost a fair amount of Bloodstone charges. Lost 6 with that death, by the way. Clockwork does have a BKB of his own that is now done. Roshan shouldn't be too far off. Yeah, about 60 seconds on the money. I mean, if you're Vega, now you have to feel like you got the wind knocked out of you a little bit. Other than getting the Aegis, other than just waiting out a Roshan and hoping that if there is a Rosh fight, you prevail. Do you change your approach, or you just say, okay, you know what, that didn't work that time. Few mistakes were made. Let's shore it up, or do you look to take a different approach in terms of trying to crack high ground?
I think they just need to make absolutely sure that their supports are not getting caught. In that fight, they ended up getting Solo caught in the static storm, and then he got RP'd after that, which is why he couldn't disrupt anybody, and that's basically why they ended up losing the fight. So ideally, I think at this stage of the game, you really want to Blink Dagger on Solo. Then you can sit super far back on the Shadow Demon, whereas right now he's only got the Force Staff. But I think ultimately, at some point, you're going to have to take a risk where you push in all the lanes, you go high ground, and there is always a slight chance, if you're slightly out of position, that they do get a multiple here RP skewer and can turn the fight from there. So other big thing is being quicker on the BKBs. If you're Lesh or Shadow Fiend, if he RPs you, but you're BKB'd, then he can't skewer you back. And if he's not skewering you back, they're not going to find that kind of engagement. So again, that's where later on this game, having the refresher on Leshrac just for the BKB refresh is really important, so that if he dies, he can buy back, refresh the BKB, and he has it for the second life. But, I mean, well, for now, Vega going to take the Roche. They'll have another Aegis and Cheese, and I still think they look to go high ground. It's just got to have a better engagement is basically all. Ideally, you start with Mag. Mag gets a jump, and then you find the enemy Magnus, and Mag finds Magnus, and then it gets a little bit easier from there.
Oh, we really haven't seen, and again, it's a small point that we brought up during the draft, but if Mag could hit a Rocket Flare onto Dindy at the right time and put his Blink, I guess he still has Force Staff, so it's not as big of a deal. But the refresher is ready to go once again, and they're going to need a big play out of him.
He's got 5k gold, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's a really big item that Dundee could buy at this point. BKB probably is, but if he buys a BKB, he will not have buyback, so he's deciding not to do it for right now.
And Evo's farming this out. His damage really beginning to show itself considerably now. I mean, it's been high all game, but he's critting for about 1,100. I'm pretty sure that's what I just saw. Of course, not exact. Oh, wow. I just heard a glimpse, and I don't think it did anything.
Glimpsed Mag back a little bit. Maybe worried he was lining up a hook shot.
Na'Vi still on the defensive. Vega trying to find a way in.
Yeah, just slow, steady siege. They don't really want to commit their heroes up the high ground yet. They're waiting for a good initiate. Now, you can't...
Oh, there's a Scepter on the Nyx, by the way.
Oh.
Yep, he's underground, right between the racks.
Oh, that's actually so amazing.
Yep.
But don't leave the base, Na'Vi. Then you can't use this Nyx to his fullest extent. By the way, look at the range of that Impale.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that's just insane.
Oh, I actually jumped up just as I was... Lurker.
This is incredible.
Oh, RP! Got two. That's No One and Pasha. There's a disruption on the No One. Pasha's going to be the one caught out. Here comes Mag. Beautiful grade. Pasha does not have the Aegis. Not going to need it. Mag's going to end up... Oh, and Pasha down as well. He's down for 35 seconds. They got the disruptor. No One's still alive. Does have the Aegis. And Solo's actually going to be caught out. He's going to be forced to use his Ghost Scepter to try to stay alive.
The buybacks are coming. They really want to turn this one. TPing bottom is the Shadow Demon. They're fighting without him, and they're trying to break the base right now. This is a dangerous move by Vega. Could end up costing them. Funix working on Seam on the backside. Rocket's getting Pasha! Oh no, this could be it. It's the double skewer back to the tier 4s. Pasha may fall here. Evo's trying to finish the job. He's regenerating so much with the Octarine. They get him. He's dead for 70 seconds. That is a really long time by Leshrac Bloodstone standards. Now no one may get caught. Dendy, unfortunately, is currently lacking a skewer. He does have an RP. He's thinking about it. They have not cracked these racks. Vega, you got it back.
There it is. Beautiful play. The follow-up is there. Disruption from Solo, not going to be enough. No One comes out, still has the Aegis, still doing damage, but they're able to kite it out. Evo's got to be careful. They're doing such a good job kiting him out slowly but surely. Aegis is going to be popped. Funix is in position to re-engage immediately. Actually mistimed it. And that will allow him to escape with his life.
What a hold by Na'Vi. That was absolutely sensational. The Lurker Nyx, man, doing work there towards the end. Not really. That was mostly about the Dundee RP, but it's fun to see that item in action.
That Lurker Nyx, 24-29, and suddenly a game that we thought, I think most of us would have thought, was reaching towards its final moments. We're at 60 minutes in. The gold graph has, not completely turned upside down, but damn well close enough. 15K gold swing at about the last 10 to 12 minutes, and the experience is damn near even.
I want to point out there's a refresher on the Wyvern now, so they have double Winter's Curse,
oh, man,
as well as double RP. And the double skewer. Oh, this is scary. Dendy played that fight so well, though. He gets the first 2 hero RP. One of them gets disrupted. The other ends up getting picked off. And then he does the double skewer back to finish off the Leshrac after he bought back, which he went from, I think he had, what, 21 Bloodstone charges? Now he's down to 6.
Yep.
That means he actually will need his buyback. The next time he dies, he's going to need the buyback, most likely.
Yeah, he bought
if he does
back,
again.
too. Yeah, he already bought back, so his buyback's on cooldown for 5 straight minutes.
Yeah, that was just such a great double skewer after the buyback, completely opening this game up. And now I think if you're Vega, you start to just worry a little bit psychologically. Like, how do we break the base? We thought we had them, but every time we go in now, Dendy finds 2. There's the skewers back. They have no way to prevent that play aside from a disruption, but you can only disrupt 1. And that's where, in that case, again, Vega, getting both cores caught together, that's something that has to be avoided.
And that's something worth saying. I'm not going to lie, I didn't, well, no, I guess there's no way. The decision to disrupt no one as opposed to Pasha whenever that initial RP hit.
Yeah, he did have the Aegis, so maybe you want to disrupt the Lesh. They were also on top of each other, so it's one of those, like, maybe he's trying to click on Lesh but couldn't, or just misclicked. I guess I would agree with you and lead slightly towards disrupting no one, but I still think it would have been a tough fight for Vega. Immediately, like, Shadow Fiends pulled all the way back, and they were also a little indecisive. They bought back right away in Lesh, and then they sort of backed off even as he was TPing in. He went in before his team and got caught a bit out of position. It was just a very chaotic fight in general. These things happen in Dota.
Once in a while. Well, for the second time in as many series, Na'Vi finds themselves in an hour-long marathon game 2. And just like last time, they have a chance to close it out 2-0 and really solidify their position atop their group. Solo is in no man's land. That's brave. And he's going to be found out behind that. There was a hook to come in, and Mag BKB'd. What was the plan here? There was just Mag and Solo. I guess they didn't think all of Na'Vi was there. They're lucky they got away without both of them being dead.
It's not often you see a BKB at a 10-second duration at 63 minutes in.
Yeah.
He's only just picked this up. And 2,700 gold still in the bank. Oh, Funnick is hunting. This could be big on Pasha, trying to force something out here, and, well, I guess he did.
Forces out the BKB. I'm not sure if he was down to 5 seconds already, but it is now. If he was sitting at 6, I'm pretty sure he was down there a while ago.
I think Funnick is going Octarine as well. This could be very interesting with how much damage the Mana Burn's doing.
Na'Vi holding it together against all odds. Last hits are pretty absurd, by the way. You've got about 1,500 collectively across the, actually more than that, across the top 3. Net worth, of course, we've got 2, well over the 30K mark now. Shadow Fiend is not far away from that mark as well. Still a few things that could be replaced, I suppose. He's got a Demon Edge, and would imagine he's going to go, I mean, he's got a Demon Edge. What do you think he's going to pick up next?
At this point, do you consider a Rapier?
That feels like
I think
against the Gyro?
Yeah, I mean, Gyro could still go Butterfly, so I think you have to go MKB here.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I mean, I'm just like, at this point, I feel like Vega had, you hate to be a Monday morning quarterback and be like, well, okay, it's real easy to see maybe something could have gone different, but there was a time when they got very passive and decided to not really push the issue with an Aegis.
Yeah, they got one lane of Rex, and then they did back to farm.
Yep, and I wonder if they're not kicking themselves
Here's
for that.
the smoke, though. Vega looking to make their move bottom. Can they find the opening? Saniko's here with the Winter's Curse in the tree line. He's got the Force Staff as well, but the hook starts it off.
Hook on art style. He's going to be in some trouble to begin with. Dindy BKBs goes in, gets 2. RP once again got Solo plus no one. Funnick trying to make his way out. In the meantime, Dindy resetting. No one just teeing off. Havost caught and blown up. 120 seconds, he's gone. There's going to be another hook. And suddenly Vega, who had to have felt just an awful feeling in the pit of their stomach, they get Na'Vi outside of their base, and now it's not so big of a problem. There's the Hex. Solo's there. Triple kill for Pasha. That's 4 down. Who's got buyback? Not going to be, never mind, the Gyro does have buyback indeed. That in and of itself is a pretty big deal. Outside of that, they do have Dindy, they do have Funnick. There will be no art style, there will be no Winter Wyvern.
I don't know if these two can hold it by themselves. You have 1 RP, You have a Gyro who has 1 damage item in a Satanic. Honestly, I think Vega just keep on going here. The
they have to.
Leshrax's buyback is cooled down as well, so he can afford to take this risk. Vega at this point, they're in position to close out Na'Vi and tie this up, make it a 1-to-1 series. The Lurker Nyx off the mark with the first stun. Now he's going to reset a bit. Solo trying to catch him out. He burrows under. Mana Burn comes through, but Vega just looking for... No, actually not looking
Glimpse
for
on a Solo.
But probably should be. Disruption there. They should lose the range racks any moment. Solo getting stunned. Grave though, what a timing!
Mag back in, catches a Vos. Where's the damage? They don't have anyone there doing damage. No one has to prioritize his targets. In the meantime, a Vos chasing Mag back out of the base. They do manage to bring down both sets of racks. That in and of itself makes this worthwhile. A Vos, can they catch him from behind? There's going to be an RP, but Dindy just cannot stand the pain as no one is giving him the slaps and making him cry all the way back to the fountain. A double kill for him, then Funnick almost became a triple kill after the raises. He actually buys an MKB out of the enemy's base. Wyvern does catch him, but no, disruption once again. And there's the grave. What are you gonna do? You can't kill him.
Unbelievable. These graves, the disruptions, Na'Vi have to be beyond frustrated at this point. That was a dieback on Dendi, and Havost forced to buy back, although he did not die again. I think if you're Vega now, you go heal, and then you go top. You know that there's no buyback at this point on the Magnus or the Gyrocopter for 5.5 minutes, and if you kill one, the game's over.
Gotta check the Roche pit, and they may just wait this out. No one, I mean, he's got a Satanic, so he can certainly go to work. Speaking of go to work, he got the job done, and I'm calling it right now. Without a doubt, my MVP for the game, Solo. Solo's disruptions have.
Hey. This guy has a history, man.
Oh,
wait until they've won to call it. But yeah, if they win and with the way he's played, I would fully agree.
I mean, MVP, win, lose, or draw. He has been so impactful this game. He really has.
Well, I guess if they lose, he's probably been the MVP for Na'Vi. So either way at this point, Solo's the MVP. Okay, I'm with you, man.
All right, Roche down in a hurry. He just actually goes on the clockwork. And then it's going to be Dazzle.
There's just no room on the Shadow Fiend or
Rapier.
Leshrac at this point.
Havost, being Havost, just Havost things. Rapier bot on the way too.
I mean, why not? At this point, this is the only item you can go for.
Yep.
Anything else, like a Butterfly is not really going to help you. Shadow Fiend already has MKB. You have to kill the enemy supports, ideally at least one core in your BKB, or you're losing the fight. It's a risky item, but it's an absolutely necessary one at this stage. But bear in mind that even should Na'Vi win a fight, there are 4 out of 5 buybacks up on Vega. So Na'Vi need to win probably 2 fights to turn this game.
At a minimum.
And Leshrac is getting the refresher now. This is a 7-slotted Leshrac. 6. He's getting a tier 4 item every 10 minutes, which is not the most farmed any hero's ever been, but it's damn close considering the amount of fighting.
36,000 net worth on this Leshrac. I just saw a crit for 1,700. That's legit.
That's not even the Leshrac.
Yep.
Imagine if you could crit with your nukes.
Oh my god.
That would be so dirty.
Maybe a patch in the future. I remember when they said there was no way there'd be CDR in Dota. And that's definitely changed.
Here we are.
Vega ready to try and pull the upset here in game 2. They dropped game 1, want to walk away with the split. There's going to be an RP!
Ooh!
Best RP of the game! Brings it back into the static storm, and the follow-up is finally there for Na'Vi!
Oh my god, he got the second one! There's the call-out! The Rapier's going, and 4 dead! They want no one as well! They're going to find him too! That Shadow Fiend's down! And 5 heroes dead! Through the ages, they're looking to bring back down another time! They'll get him as well!
Jesus
Dindy
caps it with the best RPs we've seen all game. Caps it with a double kill of his own. Buybacks are up, and what an unmitigated catastrophe for this Vega squad. Practically on a victory march, they run headlong into a Dindy RP, followed by...
This is trouble, though, Aaron.
The sting of Havost Rapier.
They have no RPs, and Vega bought back 4 out of 5 heroes. They may end up losing this game anyway, but here we go again.
Oh, my God.
Dindy, he wishes he could buy another RP at this point. He can't. And Vega, they're marching in.
Dude, the panic that Vega has to be feeling right now. Here we go, Funnick's there. Oh, he got hexed. Funnick hexed out. Sunoko's right there. BKB up on no one. Havost trying to go toe-to-toe. Can't do it. Rapier or not, no one is gigantic. Funnick comes back out. He actually bounces into the cog. knocked down to the low ground. In the meantime, Dindy able to force that back to safety. Kinetic field is there. But can they get past ya? BKB's out of it. Oh, they got him! The crit!
It's a dieback!
The crit actually got to turn this game. Havos is just going to town. That rapier and Dindy with the skewer on the mag. Got him. Oh, good hook.
Is it? Havost is waiting for this. He's going to look for no one instead. This is a dieback on the Shadow Fiend as well. A double dieback on the cores.
Kill.
You run the hell down mid and you do it now, but the throne is under siege. It's about down to a third HP. Someone's got to try and hold this off. If Na'Vi wins this game, oh my god.
100 seconds we've got down.
I don't know if they can actually push though. They have a serious infestation of creeps on their hands.
They're actually leaving Havos back. So yeah, they're not even going to try.
He can BOT in though. He got BOTs. They have to make sure the creep doesn't die.
My goodness, my word. Oh my word. Oh my Lanta.
They have
our good friends Iori.
They have 80 seconds with no Shadow Fiend. That is, I really feel like Vega need both cores of this. Like one of them is, especially the Lesh. The Lesh does not match up as well 1v1 against the Gyro. He's much better just kind of cleaning everyone up. And here Na'Vi come down mid. A lot of this is up to the clockwork. Mag has to stall this push as long as possible.
Do they just go straight throne?
I think you go throne.
Yeah, I think so too.
You kill this tier 3 and you go throne.
There it is, there it is. No, they're stopping at racks. They're stopping at racks.
It seems like they're debating it. They're kind of moving forward. Maybe they just want to get the safe racks trade. They're going to cave in mid.
Still 50 seconds. 50 seconds is such a long time.
I think they're realizing that they can just go for it. Here we go, onto the tier 4s. This is where it gets really interesting.
And Power Rapier, no, they're going to blow the glyph. And there's going to be a hook in. Mag coming in, trying to make something happen. Static Storm's on point. Can't do anything. There's going to be a skewer out by BKB Dindy. In the meantime, skewers one back. RP on the Basha. Beautiful brave once again, though. It's going to allow him to buy some more time. Disruption's there. Havos comes out of it. Do they have the damage? Will it be a Rapier on the ground? No. Wyvern there. Able to bail him out at least momentarily. One tier 4 is down. Artstyle's about to drop. The damage just not there yet. They got 10 seconds. 10 seconds to try to do as much damage as they can. But they're probably going to want to bail out. Do they go for the throne?
They're looking for here, zoning everyone back. The lurker in the front line.
Disruption.
That gets disrupted for now, but I don't know if they can kill him off. They want the heal bomb to come through. Now the Shadow Fiend.
Oh! Rapier down! Rapier's on the ground.
He's got buyback. Everybody buys back. It's Na'Vi's turn to throw bodies at racks. Here we go. Round 2. Fight.
Let's see if they've got the goods. That's a full team buyback. Dindy up, does not have an RP, does have a refresh if he's able to get back. In the meantime, no one caught out. There's the RP after the refresh. No one is down.
I cannot believe it. Na'Vi have snatched victory from the jaws of defeat while halfway down the throat, and they take the series 2-0. What the hell is that?
What a game! What a game!
That is a 1 in a million, and they already had one of these games earlier today in their last series.
What
an absolute dream day for Na'Vi. They could have easily ended up 2-4 today.